Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, August 26th, 2020, and this is the Flight Sim News. So, Razbam has been added again with all of the various posts that they continue to make, with little teases and tidbits of information. This time, the last one was on the 22nd. And they've thrown a few of these renders up here. I don't know what plane this is. This is just kind of here. Figure out what this is post as usual. And scrolling down a little bit, on the 21st, they put South Atlantic map confirmed extension. So I guess this is what their map for, what is it, the Falklands is going to include. And then more Pucara. I'm really more interested in the MiG-23 and the F-15. Not so much the Falklands stuff, but, you know, we'll see when it comes out, and I'll check it out and see what I really think of it once I actually play it and have it in hand. These are some ships that they've created. My guess is this will be the Harrier carrier. Now here's a couple MiG-23s, and this goes back a few weeks. This is what I'm looking forward to more than any of the other ones, other than maybe the F-15 Strike Eagle that they're supposed to be working on. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alrighty, Shamrock 1.5 is at it again over at the Stormbirds, and this time he's thrown together his own first impressions with plenty of screenshots from DCS Syria. Really enjoy what he does over here. This is really the same stuff I used to do back in the 90s and the early 2000s, where you just write an article written and you post a lot of screenshots, and you can really convey a lot that way. And he's done a great job. This is a really good article. I suggest going over there and reading it and checking out the screenshots. And overall, looks like he's pretty happy with it, like most of us are. And there's a lot of cool things you can do with a screenshot that you just can't do the same with a video. And I really appreciate the guy's effort. Like, look at that. That looks fantastic. Very cool stuff. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. So next up at the Fighter Pilot Podcast, it looks like they're starting to wrap up their Army Aviation month with none other than a look at the AH-64 Apache.
No purpose in this army.
To do whatever you tell me, Drill Sergeant.
Lieutenant, tell your men to get down. We're going to light up the sky.
We got a Black Hawk down. We got a Black Hawk down.
I love the intro that they've put together for this. It's pretty cool.
It's guys, so I don't really know, but I've heard pretty good things about them. Apparently, they're fairly reliable.
That's cool. Yeah, and I guess they are built by Subaru in Japan as well, so license built, according to this.
Yeah, I think so. I don't actually have a lot of experience with the Japanese Apaches and kind of their programs. I've worked in my last couple of years here, running flight school and the instructor pilot course. I've worked with in hostile territory. We'll put the aircraft down, and your wingman will land beside you, and you strap on. We have basically giant carabiners that we fly with on our vests. They're meant for hoist extractions and things like that from other assets, but we train in how to connect ourselves to the aircraft and be able to fly back sitting on a wing in front of one of the engines.
That's crazy. At that point, I'm guessing you're not raging around.
Sitting on a wing, flying in front of an engine. How crazy does that sound? This is a fantastic interview, highly recommended. It's about an hour and 56 seconds long, and it's just fantastic. I'm dying for an Apache in DCS world, and I know Wags had hinted around to it in the interview I did with him a while ago, or he said that would be the module that he would like to create. So I hope that's a secret project that's going on. over at Eagle Dynamics, because that would be fantastic. It really, really would. But I guess only time's going to tell. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. While on the topic of the DCS Syria map, I happened upon a post from a guy that said he was from Syria, and he posted these images to kind of give us an idea of some of the sites that are in the Syria map from a guy who's from Syria. So you've got St. Mary's Church and Umayyad Mosque behind it, the Aleppo Citadel, the Roman Theater in Palmyra. I can't even pronounce that, but it's a castle in Palmyra. Mamuria Waterwheel at Hama. The Euphrates Dam, or Al Thawra Dam as we call it in Syria, near the city of Raqqa. The tomb of the unknown soldier in Damascus. I actually flew past this in my Damascus video. And the, oh, that's what that is. So that's the presidential palace in Damascus. Pretty cool. The Damascus Sword Monument, and behind it is the Opera House and Television Building. Umayyad Square in Damascus. I miss this area. I'll have to look for that next time I'm in there. And then another view of the Umayyad Square. And it looks like on the ground he was running around in combined arms in a tank to take these images. Probably a good use for it, because I don't see it very much fun for combat. Damascus Tower, or more known between us as a Sony building in Damascus, and then the Four Seasons Hotel behind it. And he says he had to Google this one. I've seen this building too. It's under construction. It's going to be some center to discover talents and capabilities among the young generation of Syria, and it's supposed to take shape of a flower when it is finished. And that is a building that's under construction that I flew past and was wondering what it was. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can try to find these for yourself once you're in the game if you have the Syrian map. All right, PC Gamer threw up an article, and it talks about turn off data features to ensure the best Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 experience. And it goes to show bandwidth restricted data on, you're getting about 39 FPS. Data on, you're getting 40 FPS. Data off, they got up to 43.8 FPS. So apparently these settings will have some kind of effect on the frames per second that you can get. And they go on to say the game itself isn't much of a network hog. However, yet what little data it uses appears to rely upon for game performance. So make sure to disable what you don't need using the in-game data settings and bandwidth limits if you're worried about your connection might not be up to scratch. So pretty cool little article. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Back to the topic of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Or actually, it's just called Microsoft Flight Simulator at this point, but we still all call it 2020 because it came out in 2020. This is a really good video, and it's only about 12 minutes long, 12 minutes and 30 seconds, from the guys at Hardware Unboxed. And they go in and they basically benchmark Flight Simulator with a variety of different video cards.
CPU bottleneck with the Ryzen 9 3950X, limiting performance to 66 FPS on average with an RTX 2060 Super and up. That said, we'll still see 60 FPS or better on average with the
So they go through 1080 and medium quality, and then they go to 1440, and then they go to medium quality at 4K, and then they jump up into like final thoughts. And earlier on, I think they just talk about Ultra at 1080, Ultra at 1440, and Ultra at 4K. And at 4K is where you really see like just, you know, crap performance. But I mean, I'm running a 2080 Super at 3840 by 1080 on my Super Ultra Wide, and I don't know what FPS I'm getting, but other than the big giant pauses every now and again when it seems to be loading something, I really haven't felt like I had any kind of performance issues with it. And it's nice to see my video card is still right up there at the top number 2 spot under the 2080 Ti. At least for now, until they release the new video cards, and then I will feel very bad about my $700 purchase a year ago. But that's how it goes, right? So I'll throw a link to this in the video description so you can check it out for yourself. But it has a wealth of information about the settings and what kind of results they're getting. And it might give you an idea of what kind of performance you would get out of Flight Simulator if you didn't own it yet. Here's something I found that I thought was interesting. I guess if you have an iPhone X or 11 and OpenTrack, you can do some head tracking in flight sims. And there's an article here on how to set it up with your iPhone. And basically the dude just has his phone like right in front of his computer there. And it just tracks the head movement. So I guess it is poor man's Track IR. If you don't have any kind of head tracking and you happen to have one of these iPhones, maybe you want to give this a shot, because life without head tracking in any flight sim is like the difference between 2D and 3D. It really is. It definitely makes a difference. I'll throw a link to this in the video description so you can check it out for yourself. Last up, Chuck's Guides. So I want to say about a week ago I saw this post and forgot to include it in the news, but Chuck has came over here and he has updated his KA50 Black Shark Guide. So, and if you don't know, the Chuck's Guides are kind of the default standard for DCS, I think, when it comes to, you know, something to read in addition to the manual. And his guides are really super informative and laid out in such a way that, like, there's images and wording and, you know, little pointers pointing to the buttons that you need to press within the cockpit. Super helpful stuff, and definitely worth the price of admission, which is free. So definitely check this out. It's great stuff. Complete guide overhaul was 8/17/2020. The initial release was 2015. So this one hasn't had any love for a long time, and it's definitely worth checking out if you have the KA50. And again, he's got guides for all of the different aircraft in DCS world. So if you want a nice place to start, the Chuck's Guides is always the best place to begin. As for me this week, I've been having fun with the Syria map. I've been digging that. You know, I'm bummed that, like, VR is so tough to deal with still. I was able to enjoy a little bit of VR in a helicopter and flying about. I was getting kind of okay performance that way. But then I jumped into, you know, a jet and tried to do some stuff in a couple other areas of the map, and it was just a clusterfuck. I couldn't do it. The performance just isn't there, but I have been enjoying it on my super ultra wide with Track IR, and it looks absolutely outstanding. Getting into some Desert Wings again. I just did an interview with the guys at Team Fusion Simulations, which I'll be posting here within the next week, I think. I have to edit it and put some video together for it and stuff, but really cool stuff. I think you guys are going to really enjoy that. They were a lot of fun and really cool guys. And I got some cool information about what they have going on there within Desert Wings Tobruk. Yes, I've pronounced it right. The one guy's from Australia, and he says it's Tobruk instead of Tobruk, which is how I've been pronouncing it. So good stuff coming up, and that's pretty much it for today, guys. That's what I've been up to. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, guys,